Hello friends, welcome to my channel Creating Essence. I am Megan. I'm so glad you're here today. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a recipe that has been requested quite a few times during our various What We Eat in a Week, Pantry Challenge, and other meal type of videos. And that is my not fried, refried beans. I do this in the Instant Pot. There's no oil involved. It's just a great, really flavorful, refried bean type of recipe that tastes really, really good, really authentic, and stores well in the freezer. I love to make a huge batch of this and then separate it into meal-sized portions in freezer bags, put it in the freezer, and then I can pull it out anytime in the future that I need refried beans. This is done in the Instant Pot. You can also do it in the Crock Pot or on the Stovetop. Just modify it slightly for that cooking method to get the beans to the texture that you want. But here's how I do it in the Instant Pot. First, I have 2 chopped green bell peppers. You really can do any color you like. I just have green growing in the garden right now. 1 really large or 2 medium onions, 2 cups or 1 pound of dry pinto beans that have been rinsed. And I'm going to add a tablespoon each of cumin, smoked paprika, and chili powder, and 2 tablespoons of granulated garlic. We are not going to add salt right now. We will salt this at the end, not before the beans are cooked and the extra liquid is cooked down. The last ingredient for now is 8 cups of water. I'm going to give this a nice stir, make sure everything is incorporated well before we get it cooking. Now we put on the lid, and you can either do manual or my 8-quart Instant Pot, the bean setting is automatically 30 minutes. That's on high pressure, and we'll come back when it's done. This is finished. This tells me that it's been on the natural release for 20 minutes. Going to open it up and let it finish releasing its steam, and then I'll open it up. Okay, so we can check out our beans. They're really soft and nice. I'm just going to take a plain old potato masher, kind of go through here. I don't want to puree everything. I just want to start breaking up the beans so they will help to thicken the sauce. Now there is quite a bit of liquid left in here, as you can see, and that is where the saute function comes in really handy on an Instant Pot. Basically turns this into a pot on a hot plate. So I turned on the saute function. Now I'm just going to let this come to a simmer and slowly simmer down, occasionally using this potato masher until I get exactly the right texture that I like. All right, this has been simmering for a little bit, so I'm gonna give it a stir, make sure nothing is sticking on the bottom, and then I'll go through with the potato masher. Give it another little mashing. I don't know if you can tell, but the liquid is starting to get a little bit thicker, and that will continue as it cooks down. It's been simmering for about a half an hour. It is getting really nice and thick. It actually looks like it's not as thick as it is when it's still simmering. As it cools, the starches really thicken up. But I'm gonna give it another sort of mash with the potato masher. Give it another stir and scrape the bottom. We'll let this go a little bit longer and check back in about 10 minutes to see how it looks. All right, it's been about 10 more minutes, and you can see the starches are accumulating here and kind of giving you a film on the top. That's when it starts to tell me that when this cools down, it's really going to thicken up a lot. So give it a stir. Shut off the saute function and add some salt, because remember, we've added no salt to this. Salt brings out the best flavors in every spice and seasoning. So start with a sprinkle of salt. Give it a good thorough stir. And I'm not going to expect this to taste exactly like I want it to at the end, because moisture is going to continue to evaporate while this cools. And then I'm just going to let this cool. Let this sit for about an hour, and it is a good consistency. Keep in mind, this is not like thick and pasty like the kind you have to dig out of a can. You can use this immediately, or you can put it in the freezer and more liquid will evaporate later on. It is really thick. It is great on tacos and in burritos, has dips and side dishes, and it stores really well for the future. That is it. In total, from start to finish, this took me about 3 hours to do. Most of it is very, very hands-off time. If you're doing this in the crock pot, I usually transfer it to a pot on the stove to do that simmering down of the liquid in the end. If you're doing it on the stovetop, I would just keep it in a pot and do the same exact process, but just continue to simmer it down at the end. The reason I love doing this in the Instant Pot is because it does expedite those times so much, and then keeping it all in one dish there because it has that saute option. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. Let me know if you've ever tried making not fried, refried beans like this before. I would love to hear about it. If there's a special seasoning that you like to add to your refried beans, tell me what that is. We love this combination, but I would love to hear what other people use too. If you like this video, as always, give us a thumbs up, share it if you think anyone would find it useful, and subscribe to hang out for more. We'll see you again soon.